Now, the subtitle of the book, it took about halfway through before you even got into the subtitle. It said leveraging your core intelligence for global impact.
Yeah.
In chapter 16, you talked about leveraging your expertise, platform, and success. And you talked about 7 components of leveraging.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a few of those?
Yes. Now, before I get into that, into those, those
What do
different
you
avenues.
really mean by leverage?
Exactly. I was going to talk about that. Now, one of the things I found out, and according to research, is that an average person that God created has more than one gift. Experts believe that an average person has about 2 or 3 gifts. Some people have more, which means as you are in the studio, doctor, you're a medical doctor, but I can almost tell you that you're also a great writer because I've read your book before. You're a speaker. You probably have other gifts that I don't know about. Now, one of the challenges that I've seen in the body of Christ is that multi-giftedness, which is a plus, can also be a minus if not well structured. I was almost a victim of that. I mean, a pastor of a church, an itinerant minister, and I was in marketing.
Business.
I was doing business. I was doing so many things. I had so many things on my plate to a point that I was spreading myself too thin. And at the end of the day, the main purpose of God for my life was almost in jeopardy until I actually had this encounter in Las Vegas, which I talked about in the introduction of the book. I had gone for a conference, for one of those presentations for the company I was working for as a marketing officer or a chief executive marketing guy, and we were having a blast in Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. All of a sudden, I sank into depression mode, and that was when God began to get my attention. And of course, the rest is history. I told the story in the book that I need to refocus my attention on my purpose. That was, in fact, the thing that did it for me. Go back to Maryland and do what I've called you to do. You are a minister of the gospel. I really want to empower my people to do what I've called them to do. Now, and he told me that everything I've done so far, I should not regret because they're part of the trainings. We talked about that in the first episode last week. That, you know what, there are people in my shoes who probably have multi-gifted. So what are they going to do? So what I recommend, the philosophy around leveraging in that book is you need to find your core intelligence, your core gift first. Because in the middle of all this multi-giftedness, there is one that is your core. Everybody should find that one out. Then develop an expertise around that. Now succeed at that. Then you now leverage your success in that core gift into other areas where you're equally gifted. For instance, I really want to leverage into entertainment and media, but that's not my core intelligence. My core intelligence is speaking. But now, because I'm working on my core intelligence, you see, I'm able to attract people in the media industry like Mark, who's helping us with this recording.
Yes.
And eventually, I'll probably be able to attract, people in Hollywood that can put my sermon into movies so that we can blast this whole planet with God's wisdom.
Yes.
But I need to leverage on this first. But most of the times, we want to do everything at the same time, and that's not going to work.
Okay, so what we need to do is work on the core
Intelligence or gift first.
And then begin to look at the
other areas where you are gifted, and now spread your influence.
Yes.
In fact, success now becomes easier at that level because you probably be able to attract people whose core intelligence is in what you are leveraging into.
So some kind of vertical integration
Exactly.
of certain other areas.
Sure.
And do you believe in outsourcing too? That we can outsource certain things?
Oh, sure. I believe it absolutely. I mean, part of outsourcing is actually part of leveraging. I mean, because the world is becoming a global village, really. And to be honest with you, if you can't outsource, that's the beauty of capitalism and free enterprise. There could be some people that can help you. There are some guys working with me on this book now in Africa. We're outsourcing. So And again, like you said earlier, in the book, I talked about different ways to leverage, like uh, franchise, starting a business or endorsement and all of that. Especially if you're a sportsman. I really want you to listen to this. If you're a sportsman and you're watching this broadcast, you are not going to play forever because you cannot be agile forever. Even though, playing in basketball, playing basketball or playing, football is your core intelligence, but you can't be agile forever. You can sustain injury. I don't pray for that. Even if you don't sustain injury, you can grow old. So the money you are making, the success you are making, you are having in this particular core intelligence now, can be leveraged. You can get into fashion, for example. You can have your own label. You can run orphanages. You can have a franchise.
Yes.
You can be an equity investor in another company that you believe in their values. So that's how to leverage. But you see, because you have succeeded in your core intelligence, what I'm saying in this book is that don't rest on your horse.
Yes.
Because there are so many grounds to cover. Praise
You see,
God.
someone like Magic Johnson now has a lot of equity or shares in Starbucks.
Exactly.
He went into movie industry, had a lot of theaters in black neighborhood I don't know what happened to that. I don't know if that did very well, but
Exactly.
at least he still has a lot of money in Starbucks, so he's reaping that reward. Now, relationships, you talked about relationship equity. One of my mentors, Pastor Bank Akimola, had a slogan that I love very much. He said, relationship is a currency of the spirit. What is the value of relationship in us establishing or achieving our purpose?
That's a very, very powerful question, Doctor. In my opinion, this is one of the most neglected equities that we have out there, because unfortunately, people don't know that it is for real because it is intangible. You can't quantify it. You can't measure it. I'm in this studio today doing this recording because of relationship. In fact, in my own opinion, it is probably, apart from God, it is the best equity anybody can have. You see, not having money in your pocket, in your bank account, is actually not the definition of being broke. But not having the right people in your life is being broke.
Okay.
Because if you have the right people around you and you don't have money, it's just a question of time that those people in your life, you can convert their relationship and maximize it to produce physical cash. But if you have physical cash and you don't have people, you'll soon be broke. Because, for example, the value that God has given to you, your gifting, your talent, your ability, is not for you. So if people that you're going to bless with your gift do not want to see you or they don't like you, then you are done. So it's very, very important.
It's interesting you mentioned that Mark that you just mentioned. Now, actually, I met Mark about more than 5 years ago in a church. I went there to do some training on addiction. And he just volunteered to help me out. I didn't know that God had actually planted him in my life for that season, because the person that was helping me before just walked out on me. And God did that. But you see, if I didn't take the offer, if I had ignored him, or if I had acted in an antisocial way,
or he doesn't like you because of your bad attitude.
Yes,
that could be the end of.
That could be the end of a relationship that now has been 5 years old. We've done almost incredible. There was a time we were doing video and broadcasting almost every Sunday. So we've done like 12 times. 4 times, 12 times, 5 recordings over the last 5 years.
That is super. And Doctor, I'm a beneficiary of this same grace, because I know you, and you know Mark, and Mark is not helping. Now, again, in that book, I talk about the fact that they did the research, and they find out that every person is just 1 or 2% away from great people. Now think about that. That's amazing. It's so powerful that we're just 1 or 2 people away from greatness. And I did a little math, if you will.
The one you talked about, Kenneth Fuller.
Exactly.
Kenneth Fuller knows Creflo Dollar. Creflo Dollar may know Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. When I did it, I was amazed, doctor, that I was just only 2 people away from President Barack Obama. Because I'm a good friend of Ken Fuller.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah, Ken Fuller knows Dr. Dollar,
Oh yeah,
who knows the president.
Every day is
So if meeting Barack Obama is part of my destiny, I'm just 2 people away. And I did it for where I come from originally, from Nigeria, about just 1 person away from the president of my country. Because I know Pastor Adeboye, who is my spiritual father, and he knows the president.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But so a relationship is actually very important to us achieving our purpose. Relationship equity.